त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतानः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Om. Dear friends, we are reading this 12th shloka of 13th adhyaya. This 12th shloka is telling about the Jneyam. Jneyam yattat pravakshyami yajñātvā mrutamashnuté anādimat param brahma nasattan nasaduchyate. So we read this shloka and we are somewhere in the middle of this bhashyam. So in this shloka, Lord Krishna is telling about that Jneyam. We learned that Jneyam means Jnātavyam, that which has to be known, that which is the highest goal, that which is the highest purushartha for a human being. So that is that Jneyam. Yat Jneyam, that which is Jneyam, the mind by knowing which a person attains moksha, that I am going to tell you, and that is Anadimat Param Brahma, and it is neither Sat nor Asat. So that is what the shloka told. And then we have seen the explanation for this Anadimat and Param Brahma. There was a lot of discussion about how that word Anadimat Param Brahma has to be split and all that. All that we studied. And then in the last class we also read about this Nasattan Nasaduchyate. Na Sat, it is not definable either by saying it exists or it does not exist. And Sat and Asat, these words we have come across in Kenopanishad Bhashya and other earlier Bhashyas. So there, Vidita Viditabhyam Anyat we read. It is neither Viditam nor Aviditam. Viditam is all what is called Sat. Sat, or in other words, what we call Sat is what is called Vidi, what is known as Viditam, that which is known, that which is cognizable by the senses. Asat is the Karanam. Asat is that Karanam, that is that Maya, that is Aviditam. So when you say that this Jneyam, whatever it is, it exists. Definitely it exists. It is not as though it is Shunyam. We are not Shunyavadis. So we say that there is this Brahma which is called Jneyam, which exists. And then it is something which is not known by the senses, and it is also not the Aprameya, not the, Avyakta or Maya or Aviditam. Then what is remaining? Parisheshat, that is by excluding these two, what is remaining? The remaining is the Pramata, the knower himself, the knower who is, whose nature is that of intelligence. You and I, whose nature is that of intelligence and in other words consciousness. So we are able to say, we are able to see. We can't negate ourselves. You can negate all other things in the world, but you can't negate yourself. So you are the only one left out. So you, that means the consciousness principle is the thing which is left out, and that is what is Brahman. So that is where we are, where that discussion is going on like that. And then in that context, then the Purva Pakshi was saying, Nanu sarva buddhayaha asti nasti buddhyanugata eva. So these lines we read, but still again I am reading, because he says all cognitions, all not cognitions, all knowledges, let us say, pen knowledge or book knowledge or some other cell phone knowledge or whatever knowledge or watch knowledge, all these knowledges, they fall into two categories. It exists or it does not exist. Asti buddhyanugata, nasti buddhyanugata. Asti buddhi means the knowledge that something exists. Nasti buddhi means the knowledge that it does not exist. Asti buddhi anugata means it comes under that category, asti buddhi. Nasti buddhi anugata means it comes under that nasti buddhi. So in simple terms, that is it. So sarva buddhayaha asti nasti buddhi anugata eva tatra evam sati Jneyamapi asti buddhi anugata pratyaya vishayam va syat nasti buddhi anugata pratyaya vishayam va syat. This Jneyam also, this we read earlier, so I am reading it fast. So this Jneyam also, it has to fall under one of these categories. It has to fall under the category of asti buddhi or under the category of nasti buddhi. Then Siddhanti says, no, it is not correct. This also we read. Atindriyatvena Ubhaya buddhyanugata pratyaya avishayatvat. This is something which cannot be cognized by the senses, because this is the thing, this is the very thing which is illumining all these indriyas. So this cannot be cognized by the indriyas. So this cannot be a subject matter either for asti buddhi or nasti buddhi. So that is what he said. Then yadhi indriyagamyam vastu ghatadikam, if it is some object like a ghata, then you can say, okay, it exists, it does not exist, etc., etc. This is something which is beyond the cognizance of the indriyas. So this is shabdaika praman, no, what is this? Ghatadikam. Tad asti buddhyanugata pratyaya vishayam va, so and so, it can be like that. It can fall under, if it is something which is cognizable by the senses, then it will fall into one of those categories which you said. So we read up to this point. Asti buddhyanugata vishayam va. So let us read further. Idam tu jneyam atindriyatvena shabdaika pramana gamyatvat na ghatadivat ubhaya buddhyanugata pratyaya vishayam ityatah na sat tan nasadit yuchyate. Okay, na sat tan nasadit iti uchyate. Okay. So idam tu jneyam, but on the other hand, this jneyam, what is the nature of this jneyam? Atindriyatvena. It is actually jnana swarupa. It is jnana swarupa itself, and it is beyond these indriyas. It is the thing which is illumining all these indriyas. So because of that, shabdaika pramana gamyatvat. Shabda means, shabda does not mean sound. Shabda means Veda. Shabda means Shruti. Shabda pramanam, Shruti pramanam, aptavakyam pramanam. So these are all various terms used for. Agama is another thing. Agama is one word sometimes used, but Agama has a different meaning also. Sometimes Agama means something which is derived from the Vedas. That is Shaivagama, Vaishnavagama, Shaktagama, etc. You see the quarrel in Tirupati whether it should be Pancharatra-agama or Vaikhanasagama. That is Agama is something which has been derived from this Veda. But in some context, depending on the context, we have to see Agama is Veda only. Agama pramanam, Shabda pramanam. So that is it. Say, for example, Pratyaksha Anumana Agama Pramanani, says Patanjali. Pratyaksha Anumana Agama Pramanani. Patanjali uses the word Agama. So like that, here, Shabdaika Pramana Gamyatvat. This is something which is known only by the Pramana of Shabda. Shabda is Veda. So Shabdaika, Shruti, in other words, Shruti. Then Ghatadivat Ubhaya Buddhyanugata na Ghatadivat Ubhaya Buddhyanugata Pratyaya Vishayam. So it is not like an object. It is not like a Ghatam. Ghatam means you substitute any object. Substitute any object. It is not something which falls under the category of Asti Buddhi or under the category of Nasti Buddhi. Ityatha means therefore, na sat tat na asat ityuchyate. That Brahman is neither sat nor asat. That has been told. Then he again elaborates, and then he he refutes what the Purvapakshi had told earlier. So Purvapakshi had told earlier, Viruddham uchyate, there is some contradiction. So he is going to say that there is no contradiction. So yattuktam viruddham uchyate jneyam tat na sat tat na asad uchyate iti na viruddham anyadeva tad viditad atho aviditadhi iti shrutehe. Of course, this Shruti I quoted before. Shankaracharya said, but then now he is saying Yattu Uktam. Yattu Uktam means what you told earlier. Yattu Uktam, what you told, that which has been told. Told means told by whom? Told by you earlier, because the Siddhanti is telling Purvapakshi. So you told earlier, you made one more point. So in that sense, you also made one more point, that also I am going to refute. So that is the meaning here. So yattuktam viruddham uchyate jneyam tatu. You told that there is some contradiction. Why? Jneyam tatu, it is knowable. Then at the same time, na sat tat na asad uchyate, it is neither sat nor asat. On the other hand, you are saying it is jneyam, it is something contradicting. So that is what? That also na viruddham. Iti na viruddham. There is no contradiction in that. Why? Because of this Shruti, Anyadeva Tadviditad, Atho Aviditad Adhi. This Shruti we read very recently. We read that Kenopanishad Bhashyam also in great detail. In that Kenopanishad class, you remember, I suppose?
Yes.
Anyadeva tadvidita datho avidita dhati. For a long time we discussed. So it is something which is different from viditam, it is something which is different from aviditam. Not different, it is beyond. Adhi means above, it is beyond. It transcends both viditam and also aviditam. Iti shrutehe. Then the Purva Pakshi also say, because why does it transcend? Because it is the very same Jnana Swarupam. Because it is Jnana Swarupam itself. In that Jnana only all other things are seen. So that is why all these things are manifested in that Jnana Swarupam only. So that is the reason. Then Purva Pakshi again says, Shrutirapi viruddhartha iti chet.
Shrutirapi viruddhartha iti chet.
Yatha yajñāya शालाम् आरभ्य कोहि तद्वेद यद्यमुष्मिन् लोके अस्ति वा न वा इति लोके अस्ति वा न वा इति लोके अस्ति वा न वेति लोके अस्ति वा न वा इति ओके न वा इति इत्येवमिति चेत् न. Okay, this Purva Pakshi is saying Shrutirapi viruddhartha. Even this Shruti may be contradicting itself, who knows? So the Purva Pakshi says even this Shruti may be giving a contradictory meaning. Like, for example, Yatha, the Purva Pakshi himself is explaining his say statement. Shrutirapi viruddha, how he is explaining. Yatha yajñāya shalam arabhya. It seems there is one mantra in some yajña. In some yajna there is yajñāya shalam arabhya. Shala means yajna shala. You are preparing that huge pandal, you are preparing that huge say tent like thing which they make with all these palmyra leaves and all that. They make a huge tent. So while you make that tent and then you also prepare that yajna vedi, whether it is in a triangular form or in a rectangular form or in the form of some shena, in the form of a hawk. In some form, they do prepare all that yajna vedi. While preparing all that, then there is a mantra also. That mantra says, yajñāya shalam arabhya, having started that shala, then there is a mantra which says, kohi tadveda, yadi amushmin loke astiva nava iti. You see, then the man starts doubting, who knows kohi tadveda? Who knows whether there is something there in heaven or not? Amushmin loke. Amushmin loke means, Asmin loke means this world. Amushmin loke means in that world. In that world means in that heaven. Who knows whether in that heaven all these things are there or not? You are thinking that there is something called punya. You are thinking that there is something called some nice say food, drinks, merry making and all that. Who knows whether there is something in that loka or not? So that is what it means. So yadi amushmin loke astiva nava iti, whether it is there or not. So it is something, it appears to be contradictory because there is a yajna which is going on. The yajna vidhi says yajeta swarga kamo yajeta is the vidhi. So when that vidhi is there, this man also is saying another thing. Who knows whether it is there or not? So in Vedic mantras, we find such things now and then. We find such things now and then. Even in Shraddha mantras, you come across certain funny things like that. So who knows? Not funny things, very highly realistic things. We can't say even funny, highly realistic sometimes. So anyway, Siddhanti says, na vidita viditabhyam anyatva shrutehe. Vidita viditabhyam anyatva shrutehe. Shrutehe. Avashya vigneyartha pratipadana paratvat. Okay, that's the end. Paratvat. Okay, now he says, no, it is not like that. It is not contradicting because here, okay, we are not bothered about that line. Which line? Kohi tadveda yadya mushmin loke. Who knows whether there is something there in that heaven or not? We are not bothered. But here, this particular sentence which I said, that is anyadeva tadviditad atho aviditadadhi. What I said, it is definitely meant to convey a particular meaning. It is not something like that. It is surely conveying the meaning, or it is surely, conveying a particular sense. What is that? He is going to say, vidita viditabhyam anyatva shrutehe avashya vigneyartha pratipadana paratvat. That is, avashyam means surely, definitely, vigneyartha pratipadana paratvam. Vigneyartha means the knowledge of that Vigneyam. Vigneyam and Gneyam are one and the same. Knowledge of that Gneya, knowledge of Brahma, Pratipadana Paratvat. It is going to postulate, it is going to present before you, it is going to tell you, it is going to convey to you. Pratipadana Paratvat. Because this Paratvat is in Panchami Vibhakti, which means because this particular say mantra is intended to is definitely conveying the meaning of that Vigneya. So that is why you cannot say that there is some sort of contradiction, because this particular mantra is definitely conveying the meaning that Brahma is Pratyagatma Bhinna. Pratyagatma Bhinna means it is not different from whatever is your own Pratyagatma. So that is the meaning which is definitely conveyed there. There is what is called Brahman, there is nothing there, and that also is not different from your Pratyagatma. So that is the meaning which is intended to be conveyed there. So is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. Yad yamushmin ityaditu vidhisheshaha arthavadaha. So okay, this what you said, that yad yamushmin loke, whether it is there or not, so that is something which is vidhishesha. In Veda, in Vedic mantras, there is what is called vidhi, there is what is called vidhishesha. Vidhi means that which has been prescribed. Yes, swarga kamo yajeta, so and so, so and so, pashumala bheta. So these things, all of you do this, do that. So all these things are vidhi. Then vidhi shesha means as a part of that, shesha as a part of, as a limb, as a part, vidhi sheshatvena, as a part of that, some meaning, certain sentences are told. Sometimes it may have a meaning, sometimes it may not have a meaning. So vidhisheshaha arthavadaha. Arthavada means, so arthavada usually is something which is meant to praise a thing, or sometimes to decry, sometimes to denounce a thing. Sometimes you praise a thing, sometimes you denounce a thing. Okay, if you do this, you will get some koti janma, say whatever koti janma phalam, koti janma krutam papam. You utter the word Shiva or Rama, all the sins which you have committed in koti janmas, all those things are gone. So that is an arthavada. Arthavada means it is an exaggerated statement to prove, to say that, to praise a particular thing, or an extraordinary condemnation to denounce a thing, to say that something is wrong. It is an extraordinary condemnation. So that is what is called arthavada. So here it is something like that which should not be taken, and what is vidita viditabhyam cannot be categorized as that. Is it okay?
Yes.
So then, and also he also says, he is upapattescha. Upapattescha means even by logic, even logically speaking too, we can say that there is nothing, no contradiction there. Upapattescha. Upapatti means logic. Upapatti. Sadasadadi shabdaihi Brahmanochyate iti. Even logically speaking, we can say, we can prove that Brahman cannot be designated by the words like Sat or Asat. How it is going? He is saying, Sarvo hi shabdaha artha prakashanaya prayuktaha shruyamanascha shrotrubhihi jati kriya guna sambandhadvarena संकेतग्रहण सव्यपेक्षः अर्थं प्रत्याययति. This is a slightly shastric language in this paragraph and also in the following paragraphs, because in this shloka, not only this 12th shloka we are in, so in this shloka and also in the next 3-4 shlokas, Lord Krishna is telling about that Gneya. Gneya means that Brahma. Brahma Swarupam means what is all told in the Upanishads, all those points he has to put it here, isn't it? Whatever has been told about the Brahma, Asthulam, Arnanu, Akhrasvam, Adirgham, then something in some other place, Asabdam, Asparsham, Arupam, Avyayam, Tatha, Gandhavat, etc., Duraste, Tad Dure, Dadantike, all those things he has to put in some, in 3 or 4 slokas. So that is why, so he is putting all those things in that form. So naturally Shankaracharya also has to bring out all that meaning. Otherwise they look contradictory. Krishna in one sentence he says all gunas are there. In another sentence he says no guna is there. So for a superficial reader, for an ordinary reader, Gita may look like a bundle of contradictions. So Shankaracharya has to bring out all that meaning, and he has to explain to us this, for this word, this is what Upanishad says. This word has to be understood in the light of that Upanishadic statement. So he has to bring out all those Upanishadic statements and present before us in order to explain the meaning of these 3-4 verses, these 3-4 shlokas. So that is what we have to see. So here, Sarvo hi Shabdaha Artha Prakashanaya Prayuktaha. So the thing is, all that has been told, whatever you say about an object, so it conveys, say, Jati, Kriya, Guna, Sambandha, Dvarena. There are 4 things for any object. So it belongs to, say this is a pen. So it belongs to a class. It belongs to a class called pens. You may take a Parker pen, you may take a Montblanc pen, you may take any other pen, but so among thousands of varieties of pens, this belongs to a particular class. So this is called Jati. Jati means some characteristic which is flowing or which is common to all the objects in that particular species or genus, whatever you want to say, a class, let us say. So in that, this is something which is a common factor, a common quality in all those things. That is what is Jati. So an object, some belongs to a Jati. Then Guna, Jati Kriya. Then Kriya, there should be some action. So this writes, or rather, same object need not have all 4. But then just telling. So somebody, so and so Pachati, he cooks. So and so Dhavati, he runs. So like that, there is an action which is associated with an object. So there is a Jati, there can be a Jati, there can be a Guna, Kriya. There is a Guna. Guna means it is red, it is blue, it is green, etc., etc. There are some, or he is a good person, he is a bad person, he has all raga, his mind is with raga dvesha. So all these things are various gunas, or attributes, or characters. So this is Guna. Then Sambandha Dvarena. Sambandha means, so he is the owner of that house, he is the owner of that pen. Sambandha, Swaswami Bhava Sambandha, or any Sambandha, any type of relationship. Sambandha means a relationship. So these 4 things, or one of these 4 things, can be seen in any object. One of these 4 things can be seen in any object which we see. Jati, Kriya, Guna, Sambandha. These 4 are seen, or any object which we can think of is connected with these things. So that is what he says. Sarvo hi Shabdaha Artha Prakashanaya Prayuktaha. That is, any word, Sarvo hi Shabdaha means any word, all words, in other words, Artha Prakashanaya Prayuktaha, that which has been used in order to convey Artha. Artha means meaning. Prayuktaha means that which has been used. Prayoga means usage. Prayukta means that which has been used. Artha Prakashanaya, in order to convey a meaning. Then Shruyamanascha, and all words which are being heard by us. Shruyamana means being heard. All those things which are being heard by us. Then Shrotrubhihi. Shrotrubhihi means by the listeners. Shrota is listener. Shrotrubhihi means by the listeners. How are they understood? By these things only. Jati, Kriya, Guna, Sambandha Dvarena, Sanketa Grahana, Savyapekshaha. Savyapekshaha means Apeksha. Apeksha and Sapeksha. Sapeksha means it is dependent on, it is contingent on. It is contingent on one of these characteristics. Jati, Kriya, Guna, Sambandha. So the meaning of a word is contingent on an object having say by Jati, Kriya, Guna or Sambandha with something else. Is it clear? The meaning of an object is Savyapeksha. Savyapeksha means Sapeksha, means it is contingent on, it is dependent on. So Savyapeksha. Sanketa Grahanam means knowing the meaning. Sanketa means knowing. Sanketa literally means the symbol, symbolism. So suppose I say this, you take this pen and call it pen. The word pen or the sound pen is something which is a sanketa. It is a sort of symbol to denote or to designate this particular object, isn't it? Yes. So I say a book. Book is a sort of a symbol a verbal symbol in order to designate what is some sort of some stuff which is in front of me. So this is it. It is a sanketa. Sanketa is a symbol. Sanketa grahanam means knowing the symbol, understanding the symbol, understanding the meaning. So sanketa grahana savyapeksha, that is the knowing of a word, meaning of a word is contingent on an object having as jati, kriya, guna, etc., etc. So that is the meaning. Is it clear? Savyapeksha artham pratyayayati. Pratyayayati means, pratyaya means understanding. Pratyayayati means it makes you to understand. It makes you understand. So sarvohi shabdaha, by one of these, all these words which are used, they either by jati, either by kriya, or by guna, or by sambandha, sanketa grahana savyapeksha, while being say contingent on having one of these characteristics, they convey that meaning or they make you understand that meaning. Pratyayayati means to make somebody else understand. Pratyayayati. So that is like karayati. Karoti means he does. Karayati means he makes somebody do it. So pratyayayati. Then na anyatha adrushtatvat. It can't be otherwise. Na anyatha means it is not otherwise. Na anyatha, it can't be otherwise because adrushtatvat, you can't see it anywhere in the world. Adrushtatvat. Drushta means seen. Adrushtatvat means it is not seen anywhere in the world. Tadyatha. So the same thing Shankaracharya is explaining also. Tadyatha gaurashva iti va jatitaha pachati pathati iti va kriyataha शुक्लः कृष्णः इति वा गुणतः धनी गोमान् इति च सम्बन्धतः. Okay, stop here. Tad yatha. How is it? I am going to explain. It is like this. Tad yatha. It is like this. Yatha. Where is this? Gauhu ashvaha iti va jatitaha. So this is gau. Gauhu means a bull. It can be a bull or it can be a cow. Gauhu. Ashvaha. Ashvaha is a horse. Iti va jatitaha. A bull is a jati. It is a class. Then it is a genus. Okay, then Ashwa. Ashwa is again a particular class, a category. So iti va jatitaha. By designating it by that class. Then pachati, pathati, iti va kriyataha. By knowing. Jatitaha, kriyataha, they are all in Panchami Vibhakti, you please note. Panchami Vibhakti means because of that. So because of jati, gauhu, ashva is known. Because of kriya, pachati, pathati, etc., kriyataha. By that kriya, it is known. Then shuklaha, krishnaha, iti va gunataha. Gunataha means by virtue of guna. What type of guna? White, black. Shuklaha is white, Krishna is black. Itiva. Then dhani goma niticha sambandhataha. By virtue of a relationship. By virtue of a relationship like dhani. Dhanaha asya. Dhanam asya stiti dhani. Somebody who is having a lot of money. So this is a sambandha. He is the owner and that is something which is owned. Owner-owned relationship. So that thing. Goman. Same thing. Goman is one who is having lot many cows or bulls. So that is it. Then natu brahma jatimat atah na sadadi shabdavachyam napi gunavat yena gunashabdena uchyeta nirgunatvat napi kriyashabdavachyam nishkriyatvat nishkalam nishkriyam shantam iti shrutehe न च संबंधी एकत्वाद अद्वयत्वाद अविषयत्वाद आत्मत्वाच्च न केनचित् शब्देन उच्यते इति युक्तं यतो वाचो निवर्तन्ते इत्यादि श्रुतिभ्यश्च. Okay. So natu brahma jatimat. Brahma, when you come back to Brahma, does Brahma belong to any class? It cannot belong to any class. Consciousness, the supreme consciousness which is there all pervading, it cannot belong to any class. न जातिमत्. Jatimат means jati asya asti iti jatimat, dhana asya asti iti dhanamat, something like that, dhanavan, dhani. So so jatimat na dhana, I did say dhanamat, we should not say dhanamat, dhanavat, I should say dhanavat, because that akara, that matubarthaka, when it comes, dhanavat. Say otherwise hri, suppose I say hri vat, I should not say hri mat. Buddhiman, buddhimat, I should say. So anyway, jatimat, here jati, so that is why jati plus matu becomes jatimat. Jatimat. Ataha na shabda, na sadadi shabdavachyam, because it does not belong to any class. So that is why it cannot be conveyed by the words like sat or asad, etc. Napi gunavat, it does not have any guna. You see the word guna, vat, jati mat, guna vat, though pratyaya is same. At one place you say you get mat, another place you get vat. So napi gunavat, yena guna shabdena uchyeta nirgunatvat, because this is something which is nirguna. Brahma is something which is nirguna, it is totally attribute free, it is devoid of all types of attributes. So you cannot, it cannot be conveyed by the word guna, conveyed by virtue of any guna. Then napi kriya shabdavachyam, it is not having a kriya also. Because all these kriyas which we are thinking about in Brahman, Brahma is the creator and things like that, it is not the Brahma who is the creator. It is the Ishvara who is that Mayavachinam Chaitanya in whom all these manifestations are visualized. Isn't it? Nirguna Brahma has nothing to do with creation. Creation is something which is adhyasta. Of course, that we are also going to see in the same class today. We'll see that also. What is this? Kriya, natush kriya shabdavachyam nishkriyatvat. Because Brahman is something which is nishkriya. There is no activity in Brahman. There is no activity. All activity is in that Mayavachina Chaitanya level only. At all that Vyavaharika Satyam level only. We know that there are two levels which Vedanta talks about always. That is Vyavaharika level, that is Saguna level, and the other is Paramarthika level, is Nirguna level. So these two levels we should always keep in mind. Nirgunatvad, then Nishkalam, Nishkriyam, Shantam, iti shrutehe, Nishkalam, Kala means a part, Nishkala. You know this Shodasha Kala, Purushaha, Shodasha Kala means a part. Nishkalam, it is something which cannot be visualized in some pieces, it cannot be visualized in parts. For Upadhi, by virtue of an Upadhi, it can look like that. Like Ghata Akasha, Samadara Akasha, some this glass Akasha, something like that. But by itself, it has no parts in that. Then Nishkriyam, there is no activity in that. Shantam is another way of saying that more emphasis on Nishkriyam. Nishkriyam. That is where all activities have subsided. That is Shantam. It is Shrutehe. Then Nacha Sambandhi, and it is not having any Sambandha also. There is no question of the created type of Sambandha also. Sambandhi, Ekatvat, Advayatvat, because it is something which is one, and Advaya. Advaya means non-dual. So Ekatvat, Advayatvat, both appear to say the same thing, but there is a slight difference. Ekam means, of course, there can only be one. This one man sitting at the top, he may be establishing all relationship with everything else. So that meaning can be there. So in order to avoid that meaning, it is said Advaya also. He is one. Suppose I say it is one only. Okay, it becomes monism, isn't it? When you say one only, it is monism. And we are not talking about monism, we are talking about non-dualism. We are talking about not monism, but non-dualism, because that is Advaya. There is non-dual. That is what we are saying. That is, that same Chaitanya or existence Chaitanya is appearing as so many. So it cannot have any relationship. So it is appearing as so many. So that is the point. Advayatvat, Avishayatvat, Avishaya. We know the words Vishaya and Vishayi. Vishaya and Vishayi means Vishaya is something which is known or cognized, that is Drushyam. Vishayi is something which is Atma, which is the self, which is the knower. Vishaya Vishayinoho. The very opening line of that Brahmasutra Bhashya. Yushmad Asmat Pratyaya Gocharayoho, Vishaya Vishayinoho, etc. So that Vishaya and Vishayi is something which is the knower. But it is not a Vishaya at any time. Brahman is not a Vishaya, it is not an object, it is not a Drushya. So that is it. Then Avishayatvad, Atmatvad, it is your own self, Atmatvacha. Na kenachit shabdena uchyate. It cannot be conveyed or it cannot be told by any word. Na kenachit shabdena iti yuktam. It is also very, very appropriate that yato vacho nivartante ityadi shrutibhyascha. There are also shrutis like this. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. This is from Taittiriya. Yato vacho nivartante, from where the words say come back. Nivartante. Nivartante means they come back. Words, they try to go to Brahman, they try to reach Brahman, but they come back. Means words cannot reach Brahman. Words cannot convey Brahman. Yato vacho nivartante ityadi shrutibhyascha. So here ends the 12th shloka. Then for 13th shloka there is a small avatarika. Let us read the avatarika. Sachabda pratyaya vishayatvad vishayatvad asatva shankayam gneyasya sarva pranikaranopadi upadhidvarena tad astitvam pratipadayan tad ashanka nivrutyarthamaha sarvata iti. Okay. So sachabda pratyaya avishayatvat. You see, you are saying that say all this Gauhu, Ashvaha, etc., they all belong to Sat, isn't it? Gauhu, Ashvaha, this Jati, Guna, Kriya, etc., all relating to an existing object which is called Sat, isn't it? So, Sat Shabda Pratyaya Avishayatvat. So, this Brahma is Avishaya for Sat Shabda. For the knowledge of Sat, this is Avishaya. That is, it is not something which can be designated by the word Sat. It exists. You cannot say like that. So, when you say that, then somebody may wrongly think that it is Shunyam. It is something which is Nasti at all. Isn't it? So, all the while we have talked about Sat Shabda only. Something which is Jati, Kriya, Guna, all these things, property, all these things which relate to an object which is existing. So, Sat Shabda Pratyaya Avishayatvat. Pratyaya means knowledge. Sat Shabda Pratyaya means the knowledge that it exists. So, this Brahman is not an object which can be, which can become a knowledge for that Sat Shabda. Then somebody may have Asatva Ashanka. Asatva Ashanka means a doubt. A doubt, he may doubt that it is Asatvam. This is something it does not exist at all. Asatva Ashanka can arise in somebody's mind. That is, somebody may think that it does not exist at all. Asatva Shankayam Gneyasya Sarva Prani Karana Upadhidvarena Tadastitvam Pratipadayan. So then how is it that you are going to convey? How is it that you are going to convey the meaning, convey that there is something which exists? So here again you have to remember Pratibodha Viditam Matam Amrutatvam Cha Vindate. So that is what is it is reflected here. So the whole 3-4 passages are, you can say any number of Upanishad lines can be quoted. Of course, Shankaracharya has quoted many, and of course we need not go deep because it may be confusing. So just here, Sarva Prani Karanopadhidvarena, I just recall that, what is that? Pratibodha Viditam Matam. That is, in all cognitions, in all say living beings, in all, through all the organs, what are all these organs? All these sense organs of all beings, what are all they? They are all upadhis. Upadhi only. It is all upadhi, just like some ghatakasha, some other akasha. You take a small vessel, this is a ghatakasha. You take 100 types of vessels, they all become different types of akasha. You take 1,000 innumerable types of things and then 100 innumerable say varieties of akasha. But then akasha, there is no difference. Akasha, there is no difference. It is looking different in so many upadhis. So like that, Sarva Prani Karana. Karana means tool. What is the organ of perception? Karana actually means organ of perception, the instrument of knowledge. So that is it. all our sensory organ, let us say, sense organ rather, sarva prani karana, all these sense organs of all the beings, and all these are upadhis, like this ghatakasha, upadhi dvarena, tad astitvam pratipadayan, you are postulating the existence of that Brahman. Pratipadayan, tad ashanka nivrutyarthamaha, in order to negate, in order to refute that ashanka. What ashanka? Nastitva ashanka. Something, nothing is there, it is all shunyam. So that sort of ashanka has to be refuted. So for that, this particular shloka is coming. So Shankaracharya has given a sort of sangati. Sangati means the context, why this shloka is coming. So let us read this shloka. Sarvatah panipadam tat
Sarvatah panipadam tat
Sarvatokshi shiromukham
Sarvatokshi shiromukham
Sarvatah shrutimaloke
Sarvatah shrutimaloke
Sarvamavrutya tisthati.
Sarvamavrutya tisthati.
Okay. So this is Sarvatah panipadam tat is the subject here. Tat means that. What is that? That is Brahman. So what is that? Sarvatah panipadam. All around, everywhere, it is having its pani pada. Pani means hand, pada means feet. Hands and feet, its hands and feet are everywhere. All the motor organs, whatever activity that is happening in the whole universe, it is all because of that. Sarvatah panipadam tat. So as I told you earlier, when I read in my childhood, what is when I was a small boy, when I first read, what is that? Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha. I was really wondering as to how this being can be there with Sahasra Shirsha, this 1,000 heads, Sahasrakshaha, 1,000 eyes. 1,000 eyes means in one head only one eye, isn't it? There are only 1,000 heads and 1,000 eyes. What does it mean? In every head there is only one eye. Sahasraksha, Sahasrapat, only 1,000 feet. So that means only every man is having only 1 foot. So I was just wondering as to how this being could be. Because I did not know, because we will get confused. Sahasra means infinite. There Sahasra means infinite number of. So like that. So here also we have to think of the same thing. Not something that like Brahman is something like an octopus or something like a hydra, which is having innumerable heads and things like that. So Sarvatah panipadam tat, that means all the all the motor organs of all beings belong to this, or they are all illumined by this. Then Sarvatokshi shiromukham, Sarvatah akshi shiraha mukham. Mukha means mouth. In Sanskrit, mukha actually means two things. Mukha means mouth and also face. Sarvataha akshi shiraha. Akshi is eye, shiraha is head. Shiro mukham. Then sarvataha shrutimat. Shrutimat means shruti asyasti iti shrutimat. Shruti means sense of hearing. Sense of hearing. All around, whether it is a small ant which is hearing, whether it is some elephant which is listening, all this belongs to that Chaitanya only. It is it is derived from that Chaitanya. So Sarvataha Shrutimat Loke means in the whole universe. Sarvam Avrutya. Sarvam Avrutya means having encompassed everything. Sarvam Avrutya Lyap Pratyaya Avarana Avrunoti Avrutya. That is having encompassed the whole thing. Tisthati, it exists. Sthadhatu, it exists. It exists with all the motor organs of all beings in the whole universe, and all the sense organs of all the beings in the whole universe. All are illumined, or all are encompassed, all are pervaded. Let us say avrutya, it is a better word, is pervaded. All are pervaded, and then this exists. This tat, whatever tat is there, it exists. So that is the meaning. Shloka I think is clear. Then let us read the bhashyam. Sarvatah panipadam Sarvatah panayah padascha asyeti
Sarvatah panayah padascha asyeti
Sarvatah panipadam tat gneyam
Sarvatah panipadam tat gneyam
Sarva prani karanopadivihi
Sarvaprani karanopadivihi
Kshetrajñastitvam vibhavyate
Kshetrajñastitvam vibhavyate
Kshetrajñascha
क्षेत्रज्ञश्च
क्षेत्रोपाधितः उच्यते.
क्षेत्रोपाधितः उच्यते.
Okay, so here sarvatah panipadam, that is sarvatah means all around, everywhere. Panayah padascha asya iti sarvatah panipadam. All these things are bahurihi samasas. We have to be very perfect in bahurihi samasa when we read all our texts. So there are lot many things which are conveyed in a bahurihi samasa, a long meaning, a very that is conveyed in a small samasa. So sarvatah, everywhere, panayah padascha, hands and feet are there of this particular thing. Then that is that jneyam. Then sarva prani karana upadhibihi, all the say sense organs are mere upadhis. With all these upadhis, which are the sense organs of all beings, it is knowing. Sarva prani karana upadhibihi kshetrajnastitvam vibhavyate. Vibhavyate means it is indicated. It is indicated. Bha means light, isn't it?
Yes.
Bhavyate, it is highlighted. Vibhavyate, it is highlighted. That way, that meaning. So that vibhavya, kshetrajnasya astitvam, that is the existence of something which is a knower. So it is knower or illuminer. That is indicated by the presence of these upadhis. It is because something I am able to see, it is because I am able to hear, I am able to know, this is a lingam, this is an indicator. Lingam means an indicator. It is an indicator that there is a kshetrajna, there is a knower, there is an illuminer which is illumining all these things. Kshetrajnastitvam vibhavyate, that is highlighted, which is indicated by what? By all these upadhis, which are the sense organs of all the beings all in the entire universe. Astitvam vibhavyate. Kshetrajnasya kshetropadhitah uchyate. So this is again a beautiful thing. And you are calling him a kshetrajna, calling him or it, whatever it is. You are calling that Chaitanyam as kshetrajna. Why are you calling it kshetrajna? Because there are upadhis. When there are no upadhis, there is no kshetrajna also. Kshetrajnasya kshetropadhitah uchyate. By virtue of these upadhis, because of the upadhis only, you are saying this kshetrajna. When there is no kshetra, there is no kshetrajna also, isn't it? When there is no kshetra, when there is no drishyam, there is no kshetrajna. When there is no kshetrajna, there is no drishyam also. So like that, because of these upadhis, he is called kshetrajna. Otherwise, he has no that he doesn't have any kartrutva there also. Then kshetram cha, let us read.
Kshetram cha panipadami.
We did not read. Kshetropadhita uchyate, we read up to this. Kshetram cha panipadadibhihi anekadha bhinnam kshetropadhi bhedakrutam visheshajatam mithyaiva kshetrajnasya iti tad apanayanena jneyatvam uktam na sat tan nasaduchyate iti. Okay, here you see kshetram cha, when coming back to kshetram, how is it observed? Kshetram is something which is observed having so many hands, feet. Kshetram means not only our human body, one single human body, but all the beings, all the living beings, all the instruments of cognition and all the instruments of action. All these things, upadhibihi anekadha bhinnam. It is different, it is so divergent, it is so divergent with so many upadhis. Pani, pada, adibhihi, anekadha. Anekadha means in such divergent manner, it is different. It is so divergent with so many upadhis. Then kshetra upadhi bhedakrutam visheshajatam mithyaiva kshetrajnasya. Then the basic point is, this na sat tan na saduchyate. Why is this na sat tat na asaditi? Why is it has been told that it is neither sat nor asat? That is basically to deny or to negate that this so-called upadhis are also mithya. This kshetra upadhi bhedakrutam visheshajatam, this kshetrajna has no difference in him or in it, rather this consciousness which is kshetrajna, it has no difference in it. Upadhi are different. So there are so many upadhis. But upadhi krutam visheshajatam, upadhi bhedakrutam visheshajatam, all these vishesha means specific attributes. There is one upadhi in an ant, there is another upadhi in some small rabbit, another upadhi is in a small some other deer, some other upadhi is in a human being. So all these upadhi bheda vishesha jatam, it is all mithyaiva. This is all unreal. Kshetrajnasya. From the point of view of Kshetrajna, all these things these are all upadhis only. It is something like sunlight. That example of sunlight we should always remember with sunlight which we saw in that Kathopanishad Bhashya. So in that Kathopanishad we saw Suryo yatha sarvalokasya chakshuhu. It is illumining everything and then it is not connected with any of these things. So these are all various upadhis which is receiving that light, which is reflecting that light. So upadhi bheda krutam mithyaiva kshetrajnasya idi tad apanayanena kshetra jneyatva muktam na sat na asad iti. So this is apanayana means negating. By negating the differences of all these upadhis, by negating the differences which seem to be there existing as so many upadhis, all those by negating all that, the jneyam is described as it is neither sat nor asat. So that is it. Then here of course we are coming to an important point which of course Shankaracharya is going to say. We'll come to that. Upadhikrutam mithyarupam api astitvaadhigamaya jneya dharmavat parikalpya uchyate sarvatah panipadam ityadi. So this line we have to understand. Upadhikrutam mithyarupam api. So on one hand you are saying that all this upadhikutam is mithyarupam, and then you are saying sarvatah panipadam, sarvatotshishiro mukham, isn't it? Upadhi on one hand you are saying it is all mithya, and at the same time you are saying sarvatah panipadam, everywhere hands and feet are there, it's something like a hydra. So sarvatah atshishiro mukham, etc. you are saying. How is it? So let us read the line again. Upadhikrutam mithyarupam api. This thing which you are seeing, because of these so many upadhis, whatever you are seeing, though it is all unreal, astitva adhigamaya. Adhigamaya means in order to understand. Adhigama is understanding. In order to understand the existence of that Brahman. Otherwise, how do you know the existence of Brahman? It is again coming back to the example of electricity. There are 1,000 gadgets. In all these 1,000 gadgets, how do you know the existence of electricity? It is only when the bulb lights up. It is only when the bulb gives light, then you know the existence of an electricity. Otherwise, you don't know the existence. So all these things like bulbs, they are all upadhis only. So astitva adhigamaya. Adhigama means understanding. In order to understand the existence, or in order to realize the existence of that Brahman, all these things, mithya rupas, have been told. So, jneya dharmavat parikalpya. So, you are just visualizing as though these are all the attributes, all these are properties of jneya. You see, what does this line say? Sarvatah panipadam. It is looking as though it is jneya dharma. Sarvatotshishiro mukham. It is looking as though it is jneya dharma. It is as though jneya means Brahma. It is as though it is looking as though it is defining that Brahma, isn't it? It is looking as though sarvatah panipadam, when you say, it is looking as though it is defining Brahma. So here where the commentator is saying all this is parikalpana. Parikalpana means it is just visualized like that. Then jneya dharmavat parikalpya uchyate sarvatah panipadam ityadi. So all these upadhikruta bhedam is basically to indicate why is all this told, sarvatah panipadam, sarvatotshishuromukam, etc. Why is this told? It is not that it is real. This is the point we have to understand. It is not that it is real. It is being told only to show, or which is only to make us understand that there is something beyond. Only to make us understand that there is something which is illumining all these things, to indicate the presence or existence of that supreme thing. All these things are being told. Then again it is being negated. In the very next step it is being negated. This is what is called adhyaropa and apavada. So these two words we have heard in our earlier bhashyas. So the same thing he is saying. Tathahi
तथा हि
sampradaya-vidam vachanam
संप्रदायविदां वचनम्
adhyaropapavadabhyam
अध्यारोपापवादाभ्यां
निष्प्रपंचम प्रपंच्यते इति
निष्प्रपंचं प्रपंच्यते इति
सर्वत्र
सर्वत्र
सर्वदेहावयवत्वेन गम्यमानाः
सर्वदेहावयत्वेन गम्यमानाः
पाणिपादादयः
पाणिपादादयः
ज्ञेयशक्तिसद्भावनिमित्तस्वकार्या इति
ज्ञेयशक्तिसद्भावनिमित्तस्वकार्या इति
ज्ञेयसद्भावे लिङ्गानि
ज्ञेयसद्भावे लिङ्गानि
ज्ञेयस्य इति उपचारतः उच्यन्ते.
ज्ञेयस्य इति उपचारतः उच्यन्ते.
So all these sarvatah panipadam etc it is all figurative usage. Ultimately what is the point we have to understand is all around there are panipadam, all around there are hands and feet, all around there are legs etc. All that is figuratively described, used, figuratively attributed to the Jnaya. So what is all this prakriya? We have to understand one prakriya called Adhyaropa and Apavada. Adhyaropa, I think we broadly understand the thing. Adhyaropa is superimposition. In other words, Adhyasa also we say. Adhyasa, sometimes, quite often we use the word Adhyasa. When we ignorantly attribute something on something else, it is called Adhyasa. Atasmin tad buddhihi adhyasa. So something which is not a thing, you are thinking it is that. So you are thinking X as Y. In X you are seeing Y. Atasmin tad buddhihi. In non-X you are seeing X. So that is atasmin tad buddhi. That is what is called adhyasa. That is done by ignorance. So for example, the body-mind complex. I am the body-mind complex. So that Atma Bhava, Dehatma Bhava is an adhyasa. So in Atma, you are attributing these things. In something which is Atman, you are attributing this Deha, Atma, etc., you are attributing. Or rather in Atma, or rather in this Deha, body-mind complex which is all insentient, you are attributing some sentience to this Deha, this body-mind complex. So this is what is adhyasa. Then there is a small difference between adhyasa and adhyaropa. Adhyasa is something, adhyaropa also is used, it is not such a strict, say there is no strict demarcation like that. We have to know that adhyaropa is done either through ignorance or adhyaropa is deliberately done by the Shastra. So here it is a case where adhyaropa is deliberately done by the Shastra. Adhyaropa or superimposition is deliberately done by the Shastra. Why? Because the Nirguna Brahma is there. Nirguna Brahma is one supreme consciousness. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma is there. That Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma has nothing to do with creation. That also we say. And then, but at the same time, we also say that there is something called creation. Then where is all this creation from? So you attribute all this creation on Brahman, isn't it? Instead of seeing Brahman as Brahman, you are attributing all this creation on Brahman. So that is why Vedanta says, Brahmani Jagat Adhyastam, they say. In Brahman, Jagat is Adhyastam. Brahmani Jagat Adhyastam. It is all superimposed in Brahman or superimposed on Brahman. Brahmani I said in because it is in Saptami Vibhakti. Anyway. So in that Brahman, you are superimposing this say world. Then again, the Shastra is again negating it. Shastra can negate it only when you have the knowledge of the Adhisthana. So anyway, this is a rather big discussion. Now that time is over, we will discuss it in the next class. Because Adhyaropa and Apavada, these two things we have to understand. This Adhyaropa can be negated only when you have some knowledge of the Adhisthana. That knowledge of the Adhisthana will come through Shastra. That knowledge of Shastra means Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, etc. All that will tell you that Brahma has nothing to do with all these things. So with that knowledge you have to negate these things. So that is what is called Apavada. So there is something like an attribution and then Apavada. Why is it done? Basically to indicate the presence of that supreme thing. So that is what is the point here. So we'll discuss in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति।